SoFi once again just keeps dumping while other stocks are going up all over the place. I mean, all-time highs everywhere, but yet SoFi has been trending down instead. So was I wrong about SoFi stock? Or is there more than meets the eye with this discussion? So let's talk about it and get you guys the truth on all of it. Just make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth out the hype, because that's exactly what you're gonna get today, guys. That's exactly what you get right here on this channel. So yeah, I can't disagree with you guys. SoFi has been frustrating this year, depending upon how you view it. But I'm not a trader, okay? I have been down this road before many, many times over the past 28 years. So despite the journey being frustrating, I kind of know exactly where we're at in regards to SoFi. So let's look at some recent examples that kind of sound familiar to the talk around SoFi right now, okay? Let's just go back to 2022, when I was buying up shares like crazy, and a lot of you guys were too, in Meta, and basically under $100 or so. There was all kinds of talk out there of Meta versus McDonald's, right? Because at the time, McDonald's was crushing it. It was going up and up, and Meta was going down and down and down. I mean, literally going two opposite directions. That's what was going on in 2022. And everybody talking about Meta's dead, Meta's over, Meta's going nowhere, it's dead money, you're wasting your money. All types of things like that. That was kind of the discussion, and why I kind of feel like that kind of sounds familiar to what's happening to SoFi right now, right? But let's just go simply to 2023. An even better example, Palantir versus Tesla in 2023, okay? Actually, 2023 started off better for Palantir than Tesla, if you can believe that, okay? I mean, the stock finally started to run after, basically more than a year of being able to buy it at rock bottom prices, but it quickly faded right back down to $7 per share. Well, Tesla skyrocketed up off the bottom of right around 100, I don't remember what it was, 105, 110, whatever the heck the number was, all the way up to 270, right? Big, massive move up in regards to Tesla versus Palantir. And everybody's like, why are you buying Palantir? Waste of money, waste of your time. It's a dead stock. They're going to dilute you to death. It's going nowhere. All that talk like that was going on. But since then, Palantir has almost 15x'd, okay? While Tesla hasn't even doubled yet from that 270. As a matter of fact, it's actually trending the wrong way again. Back down closer to that two. I think we're at what, 3 something? Upper 380s, 390s, something like that. It sounds exactly like the situation right now with SoFi. You can throw whatever stock you want in there that's popping off right now versus what SoFi is doing. And it sounds exactly the same. Now, it's possible this time is different. That's true. Nothing is guaranteed in the stock market with the exception of a few things that we'll talk about here shortly. But how do you know if it's a great example and SoFi is in a spot like Palantir was, or if it's actually dead money going nowhere, more like PayPal is, right? That's exactly what that one was for us. So how do you know the difference there? Well, I'll give you the 4 things to consider with SoFi, and then I'll tell you if I think I made a major mistake investing in SoFi stock and I should have invested elsewhere, okay? So the first point is earnings performance. We are now 20 plus quarters of incredible earnings performance from SoFi. Beat and raise almost every quarter. Very, very hard to do, over the course of a year, much less for 20 straight quarters. Very few stocks have been better and been more consistent than SoFi. It's been a couple, but it hadn't been many. And remember, always keep this in mind, guys. One of the few 100% things in the market. I told you we'd talk about it. Here's one of the few 100% of the time it is right in the market. Stock price always catches up to the earnings performance. Now, that's both up and down. It always catches up. So if you get overvalued, it's guaranteed that either the fundamentals are going to come up to it and it's going to trade flat, or it's going to come down and come back to those fundamentals. And same thing when they're undervalued, it doesn't stay undervalued forever. It absolutely catches up to those fundamentals at some point in time in the future. It happens 100% of the time, never not happened in the history of the stock market. That's why you always want to be on the undervalued side of that equation, because 100% of the time, that stock price is going to catch up to those fundamentals. And if you want to see which stocks I'm targeting that are undervalued companies right now, complete with price targets and bull and bear cases on many of those stocks, take advantage of the summer savings sale that ends soon before the price goes back up forever to get all of those. Plus, you get your free courses. We got free coaching. We got the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there helping you become a better investor. We will talk more about it at the end, but it's the pinned comment down there for those that want the deal. Make sure you jump on it and don't miss out. Number 2, management is highly incentivized. Now, I agree, this one can be a double-edged sword because they start making short-term moves to maximize bonuses as opposed to making the right moves for the business long-term. But with this management team, you can honestly say that is not the case at all. They're definitely making the right long-term decisions. But remember, Noto's big pay package in 2021 still hasn't been paid out to him. He gets no money unless they see $25 per share by this year, where he gets a third of that. And then at $35, he gets the second third. And at $45, he gets that last third, which is a lot of money. And also keep in mind, he also, on his own, has bought a ton of shares every time it dips down. Seems like for years now, he's been doing that, okay? And you don't buy that much personally. He's buying large chunks a lot of the time, not every time, but a lot of the time he's buying large chunks. You don't do that unless you believe in what you are doing. Basically, when you kind of do the math, he's basically looking at being over halfway to a billionaire just in SoFi shares if he hits that high mark of $45 per share. So he is highly incentivized and aligned for sure to give us what we need in order to get that particular stock price. Next up, guidance is always sandbagged, meaning that the numbers projected for this year and next by management are low, and every time they give guidance, they always tend to sandbag. So when you look at their guidance for basically, 2 years from now, that has basically been the bear case when running your projections whenever you're running them out. Now, you're right, this could change at any time, but we have over 3 years of this being the case and proving that that is exactly what they're doing. But right now, the current guidance, in my mind, is the bear case for this particular stock because that's been their track record. Now, of course, could change. Wall Street could have other ideas. It takes an extra year. Whatever the case is, doesn't matter. The point being, I know that the guidance is sandbagged to a degree. That's the way they operate. And I don't know why they would switch that now after years and years and years of doing that. And number 4, the loan platform growth. This has been I'd call it the crown jewel of SoFi and what they are doing and what is going to get us to that fintech multiple versus the traditional bank multiple. The loan platform, they have said repeatedly, has more demand than supply. And by the way, if you're paying attention to the earnings this year, not the stuff where people are like, ooh, look at that problem there, look at that problem there. You got to understand balance sheet maneuvering and the way they do that. And Noto is clearly positioning the balance sheet for explosive growth in the loan platform later part of this year. Okay, so later on, third quarter, fourth quarter, that right there is how he's positioned himself because he's got unlimited demand right now. He basically can cherry pick how he's going to manage the balance sheet. That's something that's very, very important, especially the stocks that have a financial institution type component to them, right? A banking type component to them. It's very, very different than a Google, for example, or a Tesla or anybody else of that nature. They have to run the balance sheet very differently, okay? So when you have something like the loan platform business that is growing like crazy, despite the tech platform sputtering, but the loan platform business is exploding, it makes it really hard to give it that pure bank multiple everybody seems to think that they're going to get when you have numbers like that, and that they will continue to post incredible numbers on the loan platform side of the business, basically keeping that mix right around for the year around 50-50 or so. Yeah, there's always somebody that tends to comment on my videos that, yeah, Wall Street's spoken. You're getting a bank multiple. Well, I don't know. What did Wall Street say whenever it was at $32 per share and it was way overvalued? It was even above a fintech multiple. What would you say? Wall Street spoken then? No, of course not. That's short term. It takes years to figure out what Wall Street's actually going to do. And we aren't at years in regards to profitability and in terms of having a track record to truly see where Wall Street is going to pin this at. That's just folks being prisoner of the moment or trying to be smart down in the comments or whatever. It doesn't matter at that stage. The point being, Wall Street has not spoken yet. And I'm also not trying to say that they're going to get a pure fintech multiple either. Those folks out there pushing that narrative, not going to happen. It's going to be a hybrid multiple of some sort. Now, that'd be awesome if they do get a fintech multiple. I'm happy to be wrong, okay? But when I look at the numbers all the way across the board holistically, they should solidly fit into some sort of hybrid multiple long-term between fintech and banking. It's probably exactly where they're going to do. Noto has it a little bit higher than where I have it long-term. That's okay. I hope he's right and I hope that I'm wrong, but I like to be conservative as well. So did I make a mistake? To be clear, there are no guarantees in investing, okay? But in my experience, this is the perfect setup and what I want as a long-term buy and hold investor to make a fortune over and over and over again. I've done it over and over and over again. It continues to ring true over and over and over again. This is how you underperform in the short term, right? That's what people are talking about right now. The fact that they put money in SoFi and this stock over here is popping off and that stock over there is popping off. Okay, great. But I'm not playing that game. I'm playing a very different game. And therefore, I'm going to underperform in the short term, but crush those folks in the long term because you can't just consistently jump in and out of all the hot popping plays and make a fortune. Statistically, it doesn't happen. Statistically, it's never happened over a long run period. It happens in the short term, sure. Over the long run, just doesn't happen. So no, I don't feel like I made a mistake at all, okay? Just like I didn't make a mistake adding to Palantir for years under 10 bucks, right? Despite the narrative, despite being in this exact situation where other things were making a lot more money, I didn't chase them. I waited for Palantir. I liked exactly how it turned out. Or even just Google last year, right? Where it was dead and nobody wanted it. And obviously you see what it's done, an incredible run and super easy money. And heck, even the bank stocks that I bought back in 2022 are on a triple up because everybody was saying higher interest rates were going to drive them into oblivion. They were not going to be able to make money in a high interest rate environment. Well, I'm glad I didn't listen and bought those stocks instead. And I'm sitting on a triple up in a couple of boring bank stocks just a few years later. And yes, I believe SoFi will be yet another company that does the exact same thing where nobody wanted it until it's already sitting at all-time highs and just continuing to move and continuing to improve and catch up to its fundamentals. That's when everybody's going to want to pile in. But we're busy buying it right now where you get your cheap shares. Now, to be fair and to be fully upfront, it could not do well, right? I know many of you will say, look at PayPal, Luke, you like PayPal, and look at what it did. But I would counter that with, look at earnings performance. PayPal would be at $400 per share right now if it had SoFi's earnings growth rates and trajectory. All right, that was a turnaround play, and those don't always work out. That is a completely different situation than SoFi. This isn't a turnaround play with SoFi. It is a growth story that is accelerating, more importantly, that we have been buying since it was in the $4 per share range. And you got a lot of time to buy in $4 per share. Again, when it was at 32, everybody's wondering, should I buy SoFi now? Should I buy SoFi now? And I said, no, wait, I'm not buying a thing. It's way overvalued. Got called a lot of names back then. Here we are, right back down, cut in half or more. And I'm busy gobbling up shares once again, which if you want to see all those buys in real time, get my complete bull and bear case for SoFi stock, get your free coaching, get your free courses, be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord, helping you become a better investor. Take advantage of the summer savings sale. It's live right now. Get there, get improved this summer. So that way you are ready for whatever the heck comes next out there in the market. The price is going up. We got a lot of special things coming for members that are already in the group later on this year. Make sure you jump in, take advantage. Check out the pinned comment down there, go to the site, see everything that's involved in a membership, and see if a membership's right for you. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market, and click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.